Hello, I'm going to be reading What Once Was Mine. This is part 9. I haven't done this in months, but I still have not finished this and I've been putting it off, so I'm gonna do it. Hopefully. I don't know. So because I haven't done this in so long, this book does not have chapters, and so I'm on chapter 156 in my copy, and it's titled Rapunzel, and it's called Rapunzel Woke Up Outside. That's the first sentence. I always try to do that, so if you're reading along, you can try to find your spot. Yeah, let's see how far we get. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. Rapunzel woke up outside. While she was still half in her dreams, she heard birdsong close, very close, like right above her. The air was fresh and cold, and there wasn't a hint of staleness that sometimes drifted invisibly through the tower like an old ghost despite all the cleaning. Her back was achy because there was no soft mattress under it, only roots and twigs and hard ground. She opened her eyes and saw that beyond the treetops a sneaky, messy, glorious pre-dawn sky was trying to get its colors together before starting the day. Pinks and blues and golds smearing into each other. She leapt up, throwing her coat off. I'm outside. Gina stopped what she was doing and gave her a look. I'm just going to keep going with Colt, she said dryly. It looked like the other girl had already been up for hours. Her clothing was adjusted neatly, her blanket rolled and tucked away, her bag packed and ready to go. She was stamping out the remains of the fire and dragging a branch through, looking for sparks. How had she risen and done all this without Rapunzel hearing? It was like she was a bird or a forest creature herself, able to work around the ugly and blunted human senses and stealthily go about her business. I think we'd better just get going. Sorry, no time to hunt down breakfast, Gina apologized. Trail snacks along the way if we can find anything, berries and stuff. Cheese, Rapunzel said, suddenly remembering. I have cheese. Do you want cheese? I will totally share my cheese. Okay, so this is a good book, but occasionally the dialogue is really bad. And that's one of the moments where it is. I'd eat some cheese, the other girl said it interestedly. Rapunzel pulled out the slightly moist cheese and very dried bread. Oh, why do we care about cheese? Just say they ate a snack. As she broke each the headed half to the other girl, she had a funny good feeling, like the opposite of when her hair did the magic that killed the chicken. Oh yeah, that happened. There was something special about this ritual, sharing her food with another person, literally breaking bread. Gina took it with a cheerful thanks and immediately began eating it, apparently not noticing the specialness of the moment, of the dryness and moistness of anything. Oh my god. Cow's milk cheese. Why are we still talking about cheese? Don't get that very often, Gina said with a contented sigh. It's pretty much all goat and all the time at home. I was right. Your family must be pretty well off. Rapunzel was about to object. She had a crown in her bag that obviously belonged to someone actually well off, but her dress was made out of finer and more colorful cloth than Gina's outfit, and the other girl wore no jewelry at all. And to be fair, if you squinted, you could look at her tower and call it a castle. Books were so simple about these things, fairy tales so straightforward. There were peasants, and then there were kings and queens. Sometimes there were people who made shoes or were soldiers. Occasionally there was a priest supported by the church. But that was all. all the types of professions, all the different economic classes of people. Maybe like hair color, wealth in the outside world was more nuanced and subtly shaded than her story suggested. You knew what we could do, Gina said, though a mouthful of cow's milk she threw. Raining's hard. Threw a mouthful of cow's milk. Jeez. After this Flynn thing is all over, you and me, we could ransom. Oh, you. Oh, okay. We could ransom you to your parents or whatever, but you wouldn't have to go back if you didn't want to. That we'd just split the money and take off, and you could do whatever you want with your share. I'd give half to my mom and buy a horse. With the other half, you could go adventuring. We could go adventuring together. She seemed so excited by the possibility that Rapunzel hated to disappoint her. Oh, no. But I'm going back to my parents, she said, voice trailing off as she said it. My mother. Gina gave her a look. Okay. It just sounds like maybe you're a little done with the whole situation back home. Dead chickens and all. Whatever. Not my farm, not my pig. Chickens. You do you. Oh, I think that was supposed to be funny. It wasn't. Okay. But that doesn't mean we didn't still ransom you and I'd get my share. In fact, if you were going home anyway, it would make it easier. You could still keep half to buy more little jewelry things for your hair or whatever. I'll keep your offer in mind, Rapunzel said with a smile. Okay, no. But as they walked on, she actually thought about it. The path was soft on her feet, not stone or wood. There was a real live person walking next to her who wasn't Gothel or a puppet she had made. The space around her stretched out to forever instead of the 5 to 7 Rapunzel lengths. It was always her intention to return home. Or maybe she had just never considered anything else. She hadn't really thought about anything beyond seeing the floating lights. And now that it was about to happen, and if it did happen, she saw them, then what? Or if she didn't see them, then what? Go back to the tower when she had slept under the stars? Go back to her mother after their terrible fight? After spending less than a day with this random criminal girl who questioned the way Rapunzel had been raised? Criminal. That was exciting. There was something to talk about. There's a lot of exclamation points in this book. I forgot about that. That was, yeah. That would take her mind off this. So, you actually know all of those other thugs back at the pub? She asked. All the regulars, Gina said, nodding. Hookhand, Attila, Vladimir, Shorty. I don't know if you saw Shorty. He is super short and super, super old. He usually hangs out in the corner with a pint, if you know what I mean. Nice guy, though. Tries to cheat at Bones, but always lets me win. He's the one who... He's the only one who really treats me like one of them. Suddenly the girl stopped, putting her hand out to stop Rapunzel as well. Rapunzel shied backward immediately, not wanting to stray lock to hit her new friend. Hear that? Gina whispered, cocking her head. The black braid fell over her shoulder. Rapunzel strained and even tried turning her head to listen to like her friend, but her own hair jingled embarrassingly. Pascal tightened his grip on her neck with obviously obvious irritation. No, Rapunzel admitted, whispering back. Exactly, Gina said smugly. I don't really. Where are the birds and squirrels? Gina whispered. Why have their calls stopped? What's going on in the forest? As if in response, a single long chitter burst forth from an angry scared moose squirrel. Hmm? A warning cry. Even Rapunzel could figure that out. When it died out, there came the sound of something large and two-legged crashing through the woods. It was quickly found by the sound of more and heavier crashing. Sorry. Okay. Whatever was running was trying to put lots of distance between itself and whatever things were chasing it quickly. And then a third noise, almost silent at first, but very rapidly growing to a crescendo. Ah, but it starts with a lowercase a, then it goes capital A, there's a couple of R's, and then it goes to an H. So I just think it's funny that it starts at lowercase and it goes to capital. The cries of a man who very much wanted to attract attention, good or bad, anything at all, something that would change his current situation. Gina nodded smugly. Flynn, she said, no longer bothering to whisper. Rapunzel's eyes lit up in excitement. Her plan was working. She was really going to meet the man who had come to her tower. This is going to be messy, the other girl told her. You need to stay on top of Flynn. Stop him. I'll deal with the Stabbingtons, or real guards, or whoever's after him. How am I supposed to stop him? Rapunzel asked, quailing. I don't have a weapon. Gee, I don't know, Gina said, rolling her eyes. I'm pretty sure a girl in a fancy dress in the middle of the woods won't distract him. Come on, woman, think and go. She pushed Rapunzel into the path, careful not to touch her hair. Rapunzel stood there and wondered what to say. Hi, nice to meet you, excuse me. But as it turned out, none of that was necessary, because the path was twisty and Flynn Rider was focusing on his running and breathing and generally living, not what might be on the trail ahead of him. He appeared. Rapunzel opened her mouth. He slammed into her with the force of a man-sized embodiment of panic. Gah! Rapunzel cried, hitting the ground hard. What the? Flynn said, scissoring his arms and legs, trying to get off her. And he was tangled in her dress and hair. Not my hair! Rapunzel shrieked, panicking and kicking out. I'm not. Don't touch my hair! She screamed louder, flailing and trying to roll over. Gina leapt out into the path behind them and stood at the ready, with her small blade down. Those chasing Flynn had finally caught up, two large, mean-looking men, whose demeanors made the rest of the snuggly duckling characters look feeble by comparison. Their arms were as thick as Rapunzel's torso, and their heavy jaws were set on repulsive sneers. One was missing an eye, and both of their noses were squashed flat from too many fights. While Rapunzel knew little about real hand-to-hand matches, she was fairly certain that her new friend, Gina, small and fast though she was, had no chance against them. Get off of me, Rapunzel said desperately to Flynn, pushing at his chest. Oh, believe me, I'm trying, he snapped. I would really like to get out of here.